The PlayStation Store's games under $15 sale is about to wrap up, and I wanted to do a quick little video taking a look at some of the best deals of that sale, 10 deals in particular. Even though this sale is wrapping up, there is another sale that is running right now, the Essentials Pick Sale. We'll cover that in a little bit. Wanted to get this one out because we've been slacking a little bit and I haven't been able to cover this one in depth, so I wanted to take a look at the top 10 deals, and without further ado, let's get right into it. Kicking things off, I want to mention Infamous Second Son is 50% off for $9.99. I've noticed when I've been covering the recent sales, there's actually been quite a few people in the comments section complaining that Infamous Second Son hasn't been on sale, and I can kind of understand why, given the fact that this was a game that released really early on in the PlayStation 4's life, and it's one that a lot of people probably missed out on. You know, I bought it launch day. Actually, this was one where I ordered it online and I got it a few days ahead of launch. Long story there, but nevertheless, you guys get the idea. I played it at launch. I didn't like it quite as much as Infamous 1 and 2, and you guys know me if you do. I'm a big fan of this franchise. It's one of my favorite franchises that Sony, a Sony first-party studio has ever put out. Second Son, not quite as good as the first two titles, but that's at a very high level. That's like me saying Batman Arkham Knight isn't as good as Arkham Asylum or Arkham City. They're all really good games. Second Son is also really good. Technically, this was one of the best visual showcases for the PlayStation 4, being an open world game. It was fantastic to look at. Great powers, obviously. You can play through it twice with the good path and evil path. And I actually really like the character of Delsin. I know a lot of people are attached to Cole, and he was a fantastic character, but I thought Delsin had some quirks about him that made him rather engaging too. For $10, I think this is a great buy. Definitely would give that a shout. Alright, next up, wanted to give a mention of one Assassin's Creed game, even though, you know, AC4 is on sale, AC Unity is on sale, but I wanted to give a mention to Assassin's Creed Syndicate, particularly the Gold Edition, which is 70% off for $14.99. This was one of the more underrated Assassin's Creed games, and unfortunately it didn't do very well from a sales standpoint. I don't think that's reflective of the quality of the game. Rather, I would say that's because Assassin's Creed Unity wasn't that great, and that affected the sales numbers of the subsequent Assassin's Creed game in Syndicate. Syndicate didn't get great reviews either. Like, I believe it's like mid-70s on Metacritic or something like that, but I thought it was a really good game. I thought the story was entertaining. I thought the two main characters, were both relatively engaging, and this is the Gold Edition, so you get the game and the Season Pass featuring a major expansion and some other digital content. $15 for it, I think, is pretty good. If you want to get the base game, I believe that's $9. That's an option as well, go for it, but I thought this was a pretty good deal. Alright, next up, Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition is 35% off for $13. Yes, I know this is one that the majority of you guys probably already own, but it is the Complete Edition. Maybe some of you guys picked it up when the game was at its base version and you still want to check out the DLC, maybe got rid of the game, whatever the case may be. $13 for it is pretty good. I'm not of the mindset that Horizon is one of the absolute elite PlayStation 4 exclusives this generation. I do think it's a part of like Tier 2 alongside games like an Infamous Second Son. I thought it was really good. I think there's room for improvement, and that's why I think Guerrilla is going to deliver something of immense quality with Horizon Forbidden West when that comes out in 2021, and I'm really excited for that. This one obviously includes base game, Frozen Wilds DLC, good stuff all around here, and for $13, I think it's a great buy. Next up, we got Titanfall 2 Ultimate Edition, which is 85% off for $4.49. Man, I've said very, very high remarks about Titanfall 2. It's just a fantastic first-person shooter, and it is a colossal improvement over the first game, which wasn't even released on the PlayStation 4. Nevertheless, this is one that unfortunately bombed from a sales standpoint, since EA, in their infinite wisdom, decided it would be a good idea to self-compete with this game by releasing this right around this time of Battlefield 1. Not only that, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare was just coming out, and also Overwatch had released a few months ago. So yeah, if you're an FPS fan, Titanfall 2 unfortunately went to the wayside, and EA, again, in their infinite wisdom, I don't think it was the smartest idea to release it alongside your own gargantuan first-person shooter title in Battlefield 1. Nevertheless, let's talk about the quality level of the game, and it's at a high quality level. The campaign's actually pretty good. I think that's one underrated element about the game. I thought the campaign was highly entertaining, and the multiplayer has so much more depth than the first title. This one obviously includes some DLC and things of that nature, some additional content. $4.49 is a steal. Should be noted, it is a part of EA Access, so if you do want to subscribe to the subscription service from EA, you can play it that way. Otherwise, this is pretty good. Next up, we've got one of those PlayStation 4 exclusives that I really like to go to bat for when it's cheap, and that is the Order 1886. Down to $4.99. I think this is a great deal. You know, the issue with this game, and bear in mind, I paid $60 for this title, so if anyone was slighted by Order 1886, it was me. And yes, when I completed Order 1886, I was like, okay, this game was seriously priced at $60 for, 4 to 5 hours of gameplay and not much replayability after that. Yeah, I get it. That's a complaint you can have. And that's a valid argument when the game was $60. Now it's $5, and if you're paying $5 for it, I think you get a quality experience out of the Order 1886, something short and sweet, priced accordingly, and I think you can have a great time with it. I love the setting of this game, and honestly, if we ever see an Order 1887, I'd be all over it. Maybe lower the price, maybe, you know, lengthen the game, whatever you want to do, but I think this is a very competent cover-based third-person shooter. Again, the visuals are stunning. This is one of those games that really set the standard for PlayStation 4 visual fidelity, and for $5, I think it's a great pickup. Next up, we have Pillars of Eternity Complete Edition. This is one that is really good. I played it on PC first, and then it made the transition to PlayStation 4, and it actually makes a smooth transition to the DualShock 4 controls, because this is a game that is very reminiscent of PC gameplay, but it works really well on the PS4, and for $9.99, I think this is a great buy. There is so much depth to this game as well in terms of fleshing out the lore and things of that nature, and a lot of content as well. The Complete Edition also includes the White March Parts 1 and 2, so that's great. Unfortunately, Obsidian has been acquired by Microsoft, so there's an upcoming open-world RPG set in the world of Pillars of Eternity. The name of it escapes me right now, but that is going to be a PC and Xbox exclusive, so that's a little bit of a bummer, but PoE Complete Edition, I think is a great buy at $10. Alright, now let's move to the JRPG front. Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom is 75% off for $14.99. I think Ni no Kuni 2 is a great game. I don't think it's quite at the quality level of Ni no Kuni 1, but I thought that game was an elite level JRPG, arguably the best JRPG of last generation. Ni no Kuni 2, on the other hand, is still really good. It's a very charming JRPG with, you know, a story that I think is very accessible to someone that isn't a big fan of JRPG tropes and things like that, just because it's a pretty entertaining story, and I think a Western audience can really take to it as well. For $15, I think it's a good buy, so do check that out. Alright, next up, Prototype 2, 80% off for $7.99. Prototype 1 is also on sale for $4.49, so if you want to check both those games out, you should definitely do that. Visually, they're nothing to write home about, however, they are entertaining open-world action-adventure titles. These games saw heavy comparison to Infamous when they were released. I don't recall if Prototype 2 had that same kind of rivalry with Infamous 2. I think they were released a little bit staggered, but Infamous 1 and Prototype 1, that was like a gigantic war back in 2009. They came out like 2 weeks apart from one another, and yeah, Infamous 1, without a doubt, the better game. But Prototype was also pretty good. I thought it was very enjoyable, a lot of high-octane action gameplay, decent bit of content here, and for $7.99 for Prototype 2, I think it's a good buy. Again, Prototype 1 $4.49. General consensus is that Prototype 2 is considerably the better game, so I thought I'd make note of this one. Deus Ex Mankind Divided, 85% off for $4.49. Talked about this one quite a bit. Don't like it as much as Human Revolution, but it's still really good. Narrative just isn't as strong, but the gameplay is stronger. It's a lot more diverse in that sense. Unfortunately, we haven't seen a follow-up title to this. Hopefully, we do at some point, because I think like there's still room for Deus Ex to grow, and I think there's definitely an audience for these games. This one, again, very good. Runs relatively well on the PlayStation for all things considered. Sometimes you do have a little bit of slowdown. I played this, I believe, on not the Pro. So yeah, this came out right before the Pro came out. So yeah, it wasn't that great on the base PS4 from my recollection, but still a pretty good game, and I would give it a recommendation, especially at this price point. Lastly, another game that I hope the majority of you guys own. If not, smack yourself and then buy it. 35% off for Bloodborne, $13. Obviously, that was a little bit of a joke. Old Hunters is also on sale, and that is a great piece of DLC for Bloodborne. This is one of the most iconic games that the PlayStation 4 has ever seen. Done by From Software. I personally enjoyed this more than all three of the Dark Souls games, and yeah, I just thought it was great. Mechanically, it's so good. The setting is fantastic. It's got this gothic vibe going on for it. Boss battles are gargantuan, gruesome, grotesque. I can use every adjective in the book that's a little bit dark describing these boss battles, but yeah, great game, and one that I absolutely adored. If you want to check out the DLC, kind of expensive if you pick up both of them, but all in all, good buy here. I mean, it's freaking Bloodborne, of course, it's a good buy. And that's going to conclude this video. Again, a lot of great deals as a part of the under $15 sale. This sale does end tomorrow, so jump on this as soon as possible. My apologies for taking a little bit to get this video out, but better late than never. That's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.